Nice opinion. Just one tiny problem with it. Inspecting your post, it looks like your opinion is different from mine. Let me tell you something. I am the baseline for opinions. Any opinion I hold is objectively correct, and as a result, any other opinions are wrong. Guess what? You happen to hold a wrong one. I hope you know that your opinion is now illegal. I have contacted the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the Navy SEALs, Secret Service, and your mom. You'll be sorry you ever shared your opinions. By the time you're reading this, you'll be done for. Nature will punish you. Humanity will punish you. Supernatural beings will punish you. Space will punish you. We decided just to make sure we'll nuke your house from orbit, so there's no chance you can run away. Everyone will know you will die. It's a small price to pay to remove your wrong opinion from this world.
All right, dude. We're gonna go. I mean, we kind of update with about Johnny and Tally. So we're gonna so we're going to react to if you're watching us rewatch movies or hitting like subscribe if you like obviously talk about react to K-pop and other stuff as well. So maybe subscribe or comment if you are on a rewatch. Otherwise, let's get started.
Johnny Somali could be jailed for life. Today on this update on the Johnny Somali, aka Ramzi Khalid Ismail case, we're going to talk about a potential path, a potential future where Johnny Somali might be facing life in prison, and that is not hyperbole. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this is Legal Minds, where we teach you to be your own judge. And this is one that I spent a last 2 weeks kind of vetting, going over. I moved the topic for the stream that's adjacent to this. And of course, this is a fast version, facts version. If you like the brief and dirty, quick version of the latest in legal news, make sure you smash the like button and leave a comment below. But in the live, we'll go into further details and have extra stuff. So if you want to go and check that out as well. But when I saw this come across my desk, I went out, asked the lawyers in Korea, asked people knowledgeable in this. And when I found out there's a real possibility, I needed to bring this to your attention. Now, I typically am only focusing on legal stuff, but this is a legal silver bullet that could hit Johnny Somali if he plays his cards wrong. So let's just jump right into it today with this. Of course, I have a PP. I got a PowerPoint here for you today. So as a quick update on what's coming next, because some people keep asking me wherever I go, when's the next trial? When's the next trial? October 29th, 2025. Now, that trial will focus on 3 witnesses. We know one of them is Bong Bong. We know another is Youngman. And the last, we are pretty sure, is Hank Yu. Yes, that's right, Hank Yu. And he'll be called as a prosecution witness. In America, you sometimes call this a hostile witness. So you're bringing that person up mostly to validate evidence or validate their presence, saying, hey, is that you in this photo? Is that you in this video? So that is possible to come up in the next trial. And then you would have, of course, cross-examination. You'd have a redirect or re-examination. We also found out that Dalgoon is not testifying. So we wanted to correct that because previously we thought it was going to be Dalgoon, but actually it looks like it's going to be Hank. So that's what we got on October 29th. This is going to be a big day because remember, every single trial that we've had coming up over the past year for Johnny Somali, right before the trial, right before, whether it's 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even 1 week, he's been hit with a new charge. And this has been very consistent. And all the time, especially the pro-Somali simps will say, oh, it's not going to happen. Legal Mindset's making it up. Legal Mindset's making it up. Every single time we're proven right. Now, this time it is a strong inkling, but the road really depends on what Johnny Somali does. So, and also depends on some work.
So basically, if he, I guess, is stupid, he could find himself in life. Potentially, in prison for life. If he does it horribly wrong. Hopefully he's smart. I mean, he's not, but hopefully in this case he is.
World events. So we'll get into that today.
I mean, just for so he's not stuck there forever. Yeah.
So right now, just so you know, this is the current status. He's got 4 obstruction of business, all of which he's pled guilty to, 2 minor offenses act, both of which he's pled guilty to, and he's pending the deep fakes. Really, this is about the deep fakes. And he's facing currently 12 years max under the guidelines. Now, mind you, as these additional counts pile on, if he was to get another count of obstruction, etc., it doesn't change the maximum, but it does push the minimum up, closer to the max. So yes, additional counts, yes, they don't increase the max, but they increase the likely sentence. So his likely sentence keeps going up and up and up under the Korean sentencing guidelines. Currently, it's at 12, but we're going to talk about how it could get to life. So this is the Somali cycle. We've talked about this. If you're a fan of watching the Ramzi Khalid Ismail trial, you know about this, but it's important to kind of refresh your memory. So what used to happen with Johnny Somali is he would act out, rage would ensue, nobody would cover it, and the heat would die down. He'd escape and then go do it again. He'd be released out of the country, etc.
Obviously, that has changed since he's been in Korea, since he's been stuck there for maybe almost 2-3 years.
Well, as we've been covering it, we've been, seeing him act out, rage ensues. We cover it, it goes viral, and the pressure on him increases. Now, I have said, and I do commit myself to this, that I focus on the legal parts of this, not drama, not other stuff, not Discord stuff. No, none of that. I'm focusing on the law. And today we're going to talk about the law. But what's very important here is that we are at the part in the cycle where he is very close to acting out. And there are a bunch of signals that show he's getting that itch. It's been months since his last incident, and he just can't control himself. And he's been sending some signals that he wants some attention, that he might be acting out again. And I feel that could even happen before the next trial. And that would be a massive, massive error. We're going to talk about that today. So,
for nearly 50 years, Harbor Freight has been a reliable source for the widest variety of.
What are some of the factors here? Well, one of the big factors, this one ties into geopolitical events, is this immigration raid against Korean workers in Georgia. Now, why would that affect Korea? Why would that affect Johnny Somali? Let me explain this to you. So these South Korean workers in Georgia were subject to an ICE raid. And what happened with them is they were operating and working under impermissible visas. So in case you guys know, it's a little bit complicated, but people who live abroad like me and other folks know this very, very well. When you are somewhere, you need to make sure you are working under the right visa and doing the right type of work that you are authorized to do. So for example, if you are authorized to teach English, you cannot go be a car mechanic. You are not authorized to do that. That's beyond the scope of your authorization. Now, some work authorizations are very broad. Some are more limited, like, for example, just to teaching. Others might give you more free range. And some of them, for example, say, hey, you can work remotely and do pretty much anything. So, hey, that's cool, whatever, right? And this was such a bad incident that the U.S. diplomat to Korea had to express regret over that raid, because what happens in these instances is it's tit for tat. Korea will now look, hey, how can we crack down on Americans to get back at America? Or not even saying get back. That sounds too revengeful. It's just, hey, okay, if you're going to be strict on your visas, we're going to do that too. It's equal fair treatment, right? Fair.
I think that's perfectly fair. I mean, I guess it was I'm not messed up or something, but if one side's going to be strict, might as well if they be strict as well. I see no issue, really.
Play. If you're going to crack down on Korean workers that were working under either tourist visas or other visas which didn't really authorize them to work, hey, we're going to look at Americans in Korea and say, hey, how can we crack down on them? And that would be very, very easy to do. Why? Because many Americans are working in Korea either without a work visa or earning under the wrong visa. And the most likely target, the one that people have to worry about for, and I know, by the way, a lot of you watching the Somali coverage are international school. Maybe you're international school students, international school teachers. Guys, pay attention, because this is something you guys really, really, really want to know. So what I would imagine is this would be the low-hanging fruit. Everybody knows there's a bunch of teachers in Korea. That's one of the biggest professions for foreigners, particularly Americans. Americans. So the easiest thing would be to look at teachers, especially international school teachers, and say, hey, are they teaching non-permitted subjects? What does this mean? What this means is these teachers are only permitted to teach English. They're only supposed to teach English. However, some of them are doing stuff like teaching math. Maybe they're teaching, medieval swordsmanship. Maybe they're teaching some extracurricular, some other thing, history, etc. They're not authorized to do that. They're doing something beyond what they should be doing. So if Korean immigration really wanted to look hard, they would go into the schools, go into the international schools, go into others, and go knock on those doors and say, hey, look, you're not teaching what you should be teaching. They just do a random check of the schools. And that would be a big problem because there are a lot of people doing that. And by the way, this is a very common practice. It's not a bad thing necessarily on the teachers themselves. Sometimes they're told by the schools to do it, and the schools like turn a blind eye, or they know that they're bending the rules, right? These things happen. But Korea could look at this and say, hey, that's the same thing you did to us in Georgia. We're going to do this over to you here in Seoul, in Busan, in Suwon, and that would be very, very bad. But what they could do instead, and I know that people who are in the Korean system, in the Korean government, in the Korean influencers, they watch my channel. I know these videos are going to get the word out there. I know people are going to spread this. What they could do is crack down on streamers instead, right? Nuisance streamers are a huge problem. And if you really
Yeah, I feel like they'd probably go look after the people that are actually causing problems over the people that are, teaching.
want to go tit for tat and you want to make, do something that'll matter, crack down on people streaming without proper permits, without either a digital nomad visa or on some sort of other visa that allows for remote work, you could do that. And obviously, if you did that, who would be a clear target? Johnny Somali. He's been streaming. He's been making money. He's still, in
he's undoubtedly the easiest target to go after.
certain ways profiting off of social media and off social media exposure. So obviously they could go after him. Now, what would that be? Likely a fine. Maybe there could be a charge there. Immigration works separately from the criminal process, and it often doesn't want to do that much. It's kind of a little bit of, hey, we'll do something when he hits the border, but not yet. But they might feel like they need to do something to show, hey, we're doing something in response to what happened in America. So if they wanted to do that, obviously they could hit Somali with a fine. That's one thing, right? But there's another, and there's a life in prison option, and it's not from immigration.
This might be a problem.
But before I get to this, make sure you hit the like button, guys, and like the video. I put a lot of work into these, and this PowerPoint today, this research took a very, very long time. So just let me know you appreciate it through a like. It's free. Okay.
And that said, the two videos I react to, I have down in the description. So if you want to actually watch them yourself, I have them there.
By the way, we may or may not have cabbage merch coming. Anyways, life in
Cabbage.
prison may happen under the Youth Sexual Protection Act. So
I had a feeling that this one was going to eventually cause a big problem for him, which, yeah, he did ask for it.
let me tell you about this act. It protects children and adolescents. This means any child or youth that define it as under 19 years old. And I know it's different from America. America's 18, right? There's different rules. But under this act, it is 19 years old. There are numerous crimes against youth and children that are included within this parameter, within the parameters of this. And one important thing is it defines youth and child sexual exploitation material in such a way that could include the Statue of Peace. That's right, the Statue of Peace. That is the depiction.
That's the one that, the comfort women thing that caused this entire problem to even start, because he went and danced next to the Statue of Peace
Of a young girl that is 14 years old. We're going to go over, we'll get to that. And that's included. Let's read this statute in this article. Under Section 5, it says child and youth sexual exploitation material refers to material depicting a child or youth or a person or representation that can be clearly recognized as a child or youth performing any of the acts listed in each subparagraph Article 4, or performing any sexual act in the form of film, video game, image, or video through a computer. So what this means is the statue is a representation of a child. So if Johnny Somali goes out there throwing baby oil on it, right, doing a Diddy dance, calling it a Diddy party, right, and escalating. Once again, he moved from kissing to grinding to dancing. If he goes out there and simulates a sexual act on this statue, which would be the clear escalation, and based on his latest post, it seems like he even intends to do this, to go out and escalate once again against this statue, that's a representation of a child. And that,
I mean, the point of that statue, obviously, you know what Comfort Women in Japan did, what they did to, the Korean women and also young children. So that's what that represents, what Japan did to young Korean women.
that is something that would get you, and let's read this carefully here. I'll even make it bigger for you guys. Any person who produces, imports, or exports child, youth, sexual exploitation materials shall be punished by imprisonment for life.
So he is looking on basically the tip of a knife at this point.
Or for a term of not less than 5 years. Not less than 5 years, guys. Up
So at least 10 or 8 to 10.
to life. No joke here, no exaggeration. Let's talk about this. Now, the Statue of Peace clearly represents a comfort woman who was sold into slavery by the Japanese military, and it depicts a young teenage girl. They chose to depict a 15-year-old girl to represent the victims at the time they were taken. This is a person under 19, fits the definition of the statue. At this point, there is no excuse for Johnny Somali. He knows what this represents. He said he knows what this represents. We're in.
He knew when he came there, he showed the picture and he said, where is this person? He purposely danced on the person, on the statue. Purposely did this knowing that it was a representation of a girl that is a child, basically. I mean, not basically, it is a representation of a child. That was, exactly what that says. So there's no excuse. He had to say, oh, he didn't know what it meant. Yes, he did.
In the middle of the trial. So he can't deny knowledge. He's been told multiple times. He's facing crimes right now, like multiple crimes, right? He knows this. So if he goes out and does this, it's with knowledge of what that represents.
I mean, I guess before you could make the argument that he didn't know. Now, if he intentionally does it, he knows knowledge, which, he could end up for life, basically. So if he messed this up, he's stuck there forever.
There's no more denying it. There's no more pretending. He's been on the record. He's been questioned about this. There's multiple comments. He knows it depicts a child. So if he goes out there and does that, that would fit the definition under the statute. Now, because he knows this and he's threatened to go back, he has been reposting videos about the statue. This is why I decided to bring this up. This is why it's in my live is entitled "Don't Do It, Somali," because he's thinking about doing it. It's clear he's thinking about going to that statue for clout. And the news cycle is getting to where he would act out of attention, whether for clout or boredom, whatever, right? And you can see here. Now, I would encourage none of you to go to his social media. Do not feed the troll. I just clipped out what is important for you. So you guys do not have to go here. Do not feed him. Do not give him views. Do not do any of that. But you see what he's posting here. I asked Korean girls what they think of the comfort statue. And then my tribute at the Statue of Peace in Itaewon, right? So he's clearly, and he's reposting these. These are videos that he's choosing to repost just now in the past week or two. So what this symbolizes is he is thinking about that statue. He's thinking.
I did go because I was looking up something. In the last video, everyone's like, I guess, laughing and say you're still going to jail. So, yeah, whatever. Don't watch the videos. But I would say, Johnny, if you ever watched any of my videos I had ever made, I would advise you not to do this, because if you do this, you're stuck there for the rest of your life. This is not a joke.
Real hard about that statue and what he can do for attention, what he can do for clout, what he can do to get back on the map, to kind of get going, and get everybody's attention again. This is something he is thinking about because he is choosing to repost these specific videos. Very, 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 very problematic. Now, if he goes to the statue and escalates his behavior, particularly simulating a sexual act, the prosecutors or judge could add this charge. Now, to be very fair, This is a creative and new charge, but it is possible. So what I'm saying is, when I spoke to Korean lawyers, to the lawyers in Korea, to people with knowledge of the criminal system, they were like, wow, this is a possibility. However, it's creative. He would be the first, certainly the first foreigner charged with it, but it's possible. The way the statute reads, it's possible. It's possible. And if you push the judge and you show, and you're pushing Korea, you're pushing them at a point in which you really shouldn't be pushing. A point at which, hey, if you just went another way, you went another path, and we'll talk about that today. There's another path for Johnny that he could do. If you went that other path, it would be one thing. But if you go down this path, you go down this bad path, you're looking at up to life or 5 years. And before I do that, let's just talk about this. And I was thinking about the good and the bad path, in light of the Charlie Kirk incident, obviously very, very unfortunate. But I was watching some of the clips from his funeral. And, I was inspired, especially by Erica Kirk, to say, even for Johnny Somali, let's give him one last chance to choose the good path or the bad path, right?
Let me read.
I was very, very unfortunate past 5 years. And before I do that, let's just talk about this. And I was thinking about the good and the bad path, in light of the Charlie Kirk incident, obviously very, very unfortunate. But I was watching some of the clips from his funeral. And, I was inspired, especially by Erica Kirk, to say, even for Johnny Somali, let's give him one last chance to choose the good path or the
I think he deserves at least that.
bad path, right? Because everyone has a choice. And maybe Johnny even has one good person that's still speaking to him. And maybe he has one good person in his life. I don't know who that is. I don't know who it is. Maybe he has one good person that can still talk to him and say, Ramsey, save yourself. And this is my honest opinion here, is his chance to save himself or to doom himself really comes down to, is he going to end up doing this, acting out, doing something else? Because if he chooses to do this, he is going down a dark and bad path, a very dark and bad path. And we all have to choose between light and darkness. And this is his time, Ramsey, to choose the light path. And what is the light path? The light path here is you're better off changing your plea to guilty, admitting fault, sincerely atone, no fake apologies, no fake stuff, no sarcasm, nothing else, and back it up by actions. And I know, we all know, that it's really hard to go down this path, especially for a person like him, especially for a person who said the hardest thing, this is a Somali quote, he said the hardest thing for him is to apologize. Well, guess what? That's what needs to happen for you to choose that path. And even if it takes destroying your old personas, destroying your old characters, and creating a new character, that's the good character, right? You've got to go down that path if you want to save yourself. And this is something that I find incredibly credible, because this was information that was filtered to me by sources that are probably coming from within Korea. And trust and believe that my information, every time I've gotten something, it's because people are thinking about it. And they are thinking, this is possible. We could do this. Should we do this? Right? And if he chooses that path to go out there and harass that statue again, and to commit an act on that statue, it is not going to be good. It's going to be very, 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 very bad. So we'll see whether or not he does that. Now, cabbage merch is coming, guys. So I just want to let that know at the end of this, a little bit of fun fact, a fun part about the end. But beyond that, I'm going to be covering the trial as it develops. Obviously, if there's any other big legal developments, I'll be on those. We will do a little bit of prep for the Somali trial at least a week or so before that in October, but we'll see what happens here today. I want you to know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think Johnny Somali will go out and will do this, or do you think he's going to stay quiet? Do you think he's going to hide? I want to know what you guys think, and I will catch you on the next one.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
Well, this resume is getting...
Okay, now we're going to watch the Vitaly video, but okay, before we watch that, my opinion is, Johnny, please don't, please. I mean, as much as we hate the guy or laugh, this would not be good. So just don't. Save yourself from, a worse time. But now we're gonna watch the Vitaly in Philippines.
Things have absolutely not got better for these scumbag IRL streamer who decided it was a great idea to just go to the Philippines and harass a bunch of people, threaten to rob an old lady, and steal a security guard's motorcycle while live streaming it. And by the way, the Philippines, for any theft of automobiles, is an automatic 20-year sentence in prison. So this guy is clearly a giga brain. But he did all of this to rack up some viewers so he could cash in while doing a gambling live stream, which was later on in that same stream. I mean, overall, there's just so many layers of irony with this entire
Genius idea.
situation, because anyone with half a brain would realize, hey, this is probably one of the dumbest things you could possibly do. But yet, he was doing it anyway and welcoming the upcoming punishment because his chat was very forward about how bad of an idea this was. It's been very apparent to me that a lot of you guys wanted an update on the Vitaly situation. And there is a little bit of an update because I have been in contact with an attorney. So roughly a month ago, we had a bunch of YouTubers and articles come out claiming that he's going home. And I couldn't find any confirmation of this. So back then, I didn't make a follow-up video because I just couldn't verify this was actually true. Instead, I decided to reach out to attorney Neil, who's a Filipino-based attorney who I actually interviewed on this channel previously. So as of now, Vitaly is still sitting in a Filipino jail months after his arrest, even though, according to a report released a little bit over a month ago, almost all of his charges against Vitaly have been dropped. According to Neil, this is not true and simply a misleading article.
I think Andrew said that was the case, that was none of that was true. He's still, yeah, so that confirms it.
That's been echoed around because he's still being held in jail after that live stream stunt in Manila where he allegedly stole a security guard's hat, allegedly tried to grab for a firearm of a security guard, ran off with the motorcycle of a security guard, and then obviously threatened to rob that older lady and just a whole plethora of other things. The dude committed so many felonies in such a small stream that it's hard to remember them all, and that really says it all. Because you have Johnny over in South Korea at least spreading out the crime between like 120 streams. And I guess Vitaly over here in the Philippines is making it very easy for them and doing all the main crimes in one live stream. Now, he did do about like 7 to 10 streams from what I can tell. And they are looking into the other stuff that he did, including what happened in regards to him going into like a kitchen and cooking for himself in a fast food restaurant. He also crashed a tuk-tuk and also obviously harassed that surfing instructor. Those were on other streams. And they're definitely awful enough by themselves for normal people. When it comes to kick IRL streamers, that's not even wild anymore. What did make it viral was that stream in Manila, or more specifically, Bonifacio Global City, where he took the security guard motorcycle and so on and so on. We've already been through that list in this video. But if there's anything Vitaly knows how to do is broadcast his terrible decisions in real time.
Excuse me, madam, I'm gonna rob you if you keep walking away. I want to give you money. No, okay. No. Okay, because you got a COVID mask, you liberal. Go get your vaccine. I was trying to give you money, but all right. Yeah.
A very smart idea. Doing crimes on live stream. That's a very smart idea.
Shut up.
Again, this is just so wild. Stop, please. Shut up. Oh.
A crime spree speed run any percent, I guess.
Well, in that case, have a great day. I mean, again, what an idiot. So he was granted bail, but that lasted about 4 seconds because he was immediately rearrested again and just moved to an actual jail while he awaits his trial. He's also in this like odd immigration mess because neither the USA or Russia wants to fight to get him back. And the reason I'm saying those two countries is those are the two countries he has citizenship in. And again, after looking at the situation again, what's wild to me is another creator, Eric, who runs the channel Unlock Philippines and Unlock Thailand. He saw my first video where I covered his first mall stunt and actually went and confronted him IRL. And Vitaly clearly didn't see anything wrong with his actions.
So who is the creator, Chad? Not you. Who's the creator that talks about me?
Atozy, but he's
Atozy. He has like 1,000 subscribers?
No. He's got like 1 million or so. He's not.
Oh, wow.
Bro, he's just it's what people show him what's going on here in the Philippines.
Okay.
Right. So like,
what? There's Facebook videos with me. There's Facebook videos.
No, it's not videos. It's off your screen. Bro.
Yeah, but you watch the whole VOD.
Yeah, Vitaly's whole argument here just completely falls apart because I watched the VOD, and the more of the VOD you watch, the worse it gets. And the whole
yeah, honestly, the more clips, even if it's the same clip again, the more clips you watch of it, the worse he looks. Like, I don't get the argument.
The reason I was the first one to cover the situation is I was watching and recording the live stream live, because as soon as he went live with the title Disturbing the Peace in the Philippines, a dozen kick clippers started DMing me saying, you have to watch the stream, it's already bad. So I went, okay, might as well do it. And it's safe to say I was in shock. I was taken aback. I don't think anyone expected this dude to act this dumb. Not like he hasn't surprised us before, but still, I thought he would learn his lesson. But also, this quote was in
Clearly not. I mean, yeah, it was. It was honestly crazy how, I guess, blatant and I don't know if you want to use the word brave, but I guess unafraid of potentially any consequences he was going to face at all. So he's blatant about what he was doing and acted like he wasn't going to face any repercussions at all.
saying looking back.
Okay, what are you gonna do about it?
I'm not going to do nothing.
So stop following
The
me.
universe is going to do it.
Okay, good.
That quote aged so well. Vitaly asked him, what is he going to do about it? And obviously, Eric is not going to hit the guy and end up in the same situation that Vitaly is currently in. So he just responded with, he's not going to do anything about it. The universe is. And Vitaly said, okay, good. And then literally was arrested the next day. Well, I guess the universe did
Let the internet be the internet, I guess.
something about it. GG. And as I hinted at earlier,
Do nothing, win easy.
Vitaly has been given way too many chances as well. Him, of all people, should know better now. He was jailed in Egypt, didn't learn his lesson. He had some serious charges in 2020 after being arrested in Miami for
Booking.com has all kinds of stays because some want a house in the desert.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think he'd learn his lesson, but obviously not.
assaulting a woman who was jogging. TMZ published the photos and her face was not looking good after the altercation with Vitaly. Calling him a scumbag is an understatement after seeing what he did to her. But that case did end with a private settlement. And that clearly is no oopsie moment. That's just disgusting and awful on his part. But he vanished from the internet, came back with this whole like redemption arc, and he started doing these like predator catching videos. But because of how he acted, his entire team left him and then pivoted into, I guess, just harassing people in the Philippines instead. But I digress. Okay, what's
Great pivot.
currently going on? He was arrested and initially faced 3 charges of unjust vexation, a vague legal term in the Philippines that basically means causing a public disturbance. Then you have the motorcycle theft, which is an automatic 20-year prison sentence in the Philippines, which he live streamed himself doing. And as of right now, he has not been charged with that. So his life is essentially hinging on if the prosecutors show mercy and don't charge him for that. And again, his biggest problem is he live streamed himself doing it. So the proof is already out on the internet. Definitely not a good position to be in. But apparently, Vitaly wrote to the Department of the Interior and Local Government Secretary, Jean-Ric Romulla, pleading for mercy due to mental health reasons. And Romulla rejected the appeal and told the news outlet 24 Horas that acts that Vitaly committed do not deserve mercy. And honestly, it kind of makes sense that he responded like this, because this is how Vitaly was acting during the announcement of the charges in front of Romulla.
Basically, he was from the. I haven't played the entire thing yet, but from that right there, you can tell he's cocky and thinks he's not going to get in trouble, and he's going to get away with it. Obviously, that has not been the case.
Pero we have a backlog of 1,300 cases from 2016.
It's hard to plead mercy when you're showing up that unserious. And what's sad about this is it took him to be jailed in the Philippines to finally respect the Philippines. But also, I mean, after being thrown in jail, I think it's safe to assume that anyone in the Filipino prison system would have mental health concerns. Looking at the conditions, those are not conditions anyone wants to be in. And a TikToker named Dark Predictions actually claimed that Vitaly has been quietly trying to pay off witnesses and officials. No one's confirmed that. It's just one of many rumors that are circling around the case. Meanwhile, his physical condition is not looking good at all. A recent photo shows him looking way skinnier, scruffier, and just not like the dude who used to run around shirtless in Miami for clout. This same TikToker, Dark Predictions, also tried to visit Vitaly, claiming that he couldn't get past the facility rules because apparently only family or lawyers can see detainees. But he did bring him 2 chicken burgers.
Okay, so I'm just here with some food for Vitaly. I got him 2 chicken burgers, chicken burgers. And I put a note in there giving him my advice and dark predictions, how he can get himself out of this. And that's all we can do for now. Apparently, it's really difficult to actually go in there without being a family or a lawyer. We contacted the lawyers, we contacted some judges. I did all I could. I did everything I could. Apparently, the only thing I can do now is bring him some food and bring him that note.
And this got him a bunch of backlash online, with people accusing him of supporting a scumbag. And this led him to make a follow-up video where he clarified that he didn't condone what Vitaly did, but felt like 24 years was excessive and wanted to show some compassion. Which, I mean, is fair. I don't think any Westerners think he deserves 24 years.
I mean, I think that's fair enough.
For what he did there, but it doesn't really matter what people think. His problem is he did this. And the Philippines, they don't play by Western rules. If you F around there, you will definitely find out.
Hey, country, their country, their rules. You mess around in that country, you go. Most people are gonna have you jailed for that in that country, and you play by the country's rules. So, if it's 24 years prison, it's 24 years in prison.
I was just doing the best of what I had. You know, I couldn't do the interview that I wanted to do, but I could bring him food. So why would I just say, oh, well, I can bring him food. I can't see him, but no, I should just leave him, you know? So I decided to bring him some food.
But obviously, Vitaly has been known for having an unapologetic attitude, and in his own words, has bragged about going to jail for views.
And I came out of jail, every video was hitting 1 million views. Whoa. Out of every negative situation, I get positive. So if I go to jail tonight or today or for how many days, because I'm ready, because my ass tied for a while now.
So yeah, I mean, if that's your strategy, don't be surprised if jail time isn't just a part of your marketing plan and suddenly it becomes a part of your life, because that's where it will lead you. And as of now, just getting to his trial could still take years. And even if he serves time or gets cleared, the immigration issue, that's just its own separate nightmare. Until a country actually agrees to accept him, he's in this like weird legal limbo. Because as of now, Vitaly will be stuck in the Philippines, a long way from his YouTube glory and a long way from going home. He was also transferred to the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology custody around June 11, 2025, pending the resolution of his court cases. And as I mentioned previously, even after posting bail, he was just rearrested again. And even worse, the BIA has kept him detained due to the ongoing deportation proceedings and his status, because they're referring to him as an undesirable alien. And the final update is the Philippines government has made it very clear that deportation will not occur until any sentence is served and local legal cases are resolved. So for now, the waiting continues for Vitaly. And the dude built his career off of annoying people. Now, basically the entire world is annoyed at him. So that's just kind of ironic. And the guy is essentially just a walking case study of how clout chasing can turn into a prison sentence. And now I guess he's just finding out if you burn enough bridges, you might literally get stuck on an island. So a lot of you guys wanted an update. That's it for now. I'll be making another update as soon as more stuff drops. But other than that, YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
With Prime Big Deal.
Yes, so that's not great for Vitaly. And let's see if Johnny Somali has anything else. Let's see. Okay, here's go. Okay, I did purchase Purchase has legal mindset thing I watched, but then there's other stuff in there too.
Johnny Somali. He's been streaming, he's been making money, he's still, in certain ways profiting off of social media and off of social media exposure. So obviously they could go after him. Now, what would that be? Likely a fine. Maybe there could be a charge there. Immigration works separately from the criminal process, and it often doesn't want to do that much. It's kind of a little bit of
know all about the nuisance IRL streaming gang that's traveling the world and terrorizing the public. I feel like I was a martyr. I feel like I sacrificed myself.
Johnny? No, you weren't. Claiming you as a martyr is insulting to actual martyrs.
Somali is once again facing new danger. Yes, this time the South Korean authorities are asking for a visa from Johnny Somali. As you might already know, Johnny Somali holds an American passport as a U.S. citizen. According to immigration rules and laws, if any American stays more than 90 days without a visa, especially for troubling purposes, then their stay can expire or become illegal. There are some opportunities for Americans, but this time the South Korean
And he's been there for almost 2 years or something like that.
authorities are saying Johnny Somali should now face new consequences or charges because he violated South Korea's immigration law. This means Johnny Somali is now going into a new phase of trouble, while his next trial is coming up in the last week of October, which is very soon. When these new issues escalate related to the Immigration Act, just imagine how much trouble Johnny Somali is going to face. I'll give you the latest updates on that, so keep watching until the end. As I already updated you before, South Korean authorities are now looking closely at those nuisance streamers who came to South Korea and across Asia just to make money by streaming, harassing people, and
As they should, because they have caused an immense problem and probably caused other people that just want to go to the country or potentially maybe live even in the country, making them look at them suspiciously just for being there. And someone might assume they're being there to cause problems because these people.
violating rules, yet still don't have any kind of working visa. Normally, a streamer doesn't actually need a working visa because they can say, we're only here for travel. But under the excuse of travel, they're actually making money without paying a single penny in taxes as foreigners. When American authorities have already raided Korean workers for tax and visa issues, now South Korean authorities also want to take action. They're saying, we're watching those streamers who claim they're only traveling, but are actually making money. And right now, Johnny Somali is the main target of this crackdown. Even Legal Mindset has talked about this issue.
This was such a bad incident that the U.S. diplomat to Korea had to express regret over that raid, because what happens in these instances is it's tit for tat. Korea will now look, hey, how can we crack down on Americans to get back at America? Or not even saying get back. That sounds too revengeful. It's just, hey, okay, if you're going to be strict on your visas, we're going to do that too. It's equal fair treatment, right? Fair play. If you're going to crack down on Korean workers that were working under either tourist visas or other visas which didn't really authorize them to work, hey, we're going to look at Americans in Korea and say, hey, how can we crack down on them?
Thursday Night Football on Prime.
It's on.
Let them know.
Tonight.
No, I have to say that's only fair.
I'm on the Seahawks.
Now, for anyone who doesn't know about this, let me give you a short context. An American citizen with a U.S. passport, like Johnny Somali, does not need a visa for up to 90 days if the purpose is tourism or business. If they want to stay longer than 90 days, then they need to get a Korean electronic travel authorization. That was the rule previously. But if you look at Johnny Somali, or even take Ice Poseidon as an example, they made millions in South Korea and Japan.
Yeah, to your country. Yeah, I made millions of dollars in your country. I made millions of dollars in your country.
Yet they didn't care about taxes or following local regulations. Their main purpose was making money and then leaving. So now the logical question is, why didn't they do this in America or Europe? Because they
Because I know, especially in America, they probably get beat the crap out of. In Europe, probably the same instance, but depends where in Europe they go. But, and also Asia, specifically Japan, Korea, Taiwan, China, not China, haven't been. Japan, Korea, Philippines, all the island countries as well, are a bit more kinder to you than Europe and America.
Knew it could be illegal in the US or Europe to make money by harassing people. They thought Asian laws were weaker, so they could easily break the rules there. That was their main purpose.
That too. I mean, I think they also assume they're a bit more kind and over there. And that also, the laws probably is another reason.
And Johnny Somali himself has said this multiple times. He even excused his actions by claiming everything he did was free speech.
But they are putting an American citizen in.
Again, freedom of speech, yes, but not free of consequences, which people tend to forget this part. You are free to, I guess, be an idiot online and harass people, even in Korea. But the Koreans or any other country that you do this to is also free to punish you for however they see fit. That's the people, I guess, part people think. Like, yes, free speech, yes. But there's also the part that's like, but you're not free of consequences if you do something stupid or something illegal.
A legal battle and not letting me fly out of this country just for my freedom of speech on a live stream and accepting donations on a live.
Again, this is the consequences of your so-called freedom of speech.
It's ridiculous. Another 7 years in prison, guys.
But the reality is, if he had done
Hopefully more than 7, in my opinion.
all this in America, he would already be in prison, that's for sure. And now, South Korean authorities are also noticing Johnny Somali's immigration violations. They're thinking seriously about punishing Johnny Somali for this illegal activity. Now, let's also hear from Legal Mindset about this issue.
Nuisance streamers are a huge problem. And if you really want to go tit for tat and you want to make, do something that'll matter, crack down on people streaming without proper permits, without either a digital nomad visa or on some sort of other visa that allows for remote work. You could do that. And obviously, if you did that, who would be a clear target? Johnny Somali. He's been streaming. He's been making money. He's still, in certain ways profiting off of social media and off social media exposure. So obviously, they could go after him. Now, what would that be? Likely a fine. Maybe there could be a charge there. Immigration works separately from the criminal process, and it often doesn't want to do that much. It's kind of a little bit of, hey, we'll do something when he hits the border, but not yet. But they might feel like they need to do something to show, hey, we're doing something in response to what happened in America. So if they wanted to do that, obviously they could hit Somali with a fine. That's one thing.
So as you just heard from Legal Mindset, Johnny Somali is now going to face fines and even more consequences. And honestly, he brought this on himself. Johnny Somali openly claimed from his own mouth.
I mean, this is his fault entirely. Like, what? He went to harass Koreans over there. And the Koreans were like, we're done. After the Japan incident, and also what you did in Korea, it's not surprising that they were like, your games are done.
That nowadays all these nuisance streamers are creating chaotic content and earning money by harassing people, and that it all started with him. He admitted that he influenced this entire trend, which is why so many others are doing the same thing now. If South Korean authorities find that clip, they could easily prove Johnny Somali's intentions when he came to South Korea. And even now, just listen to Johnny Somali himself.
Ruining live streaming or affecting IRL streaming in Asia. This is Johnny Somali's fault. If it wasn't for Johnny Somali, we wouldn't have the scrutiny that we have, or we would be able to get away with a lot more shit. So I don't know, maybe the world should be thanking me a little bit. Like now you guys know all about the nuisance IRL streaming gang that's traveling the world and terrorizing the public. I feel like I was a martyr. I feel like I sacrificed.
No, you were not. That's not what a martyr is, you dude. You didn't. He doesn't know the definition of martyr, for one. Second off, that's an insult to actual people who become martyrs. So, no, you were not.
Myself, I sacrificed a lot of my live streaming career.
Did you hear that? Johnny Somali, through his own unfortunate actions, basically revealed that he is the main culprit behind all of this. And now the South Korean authorities are considering the visa.
Hey, we never claimed him to be smart, to be fair.
Rules for foreigners, whether they are travelers or streamers. At this point, if they need evidence to prove Johnny Somali is the main culprit, this clip alone could serve as evidence. Now you may ask, where's the proof that people are actually creating chaos, causing nuisance, and even committing crimes in Asia like Johnny Somali? Well guys, there's plenty of evidence nowadays. Just like Johnny Somali, nuisance streamers are coming into Japan, South Korea, and other countries, harassing women and local people. Here's another example, another version of Johnny Somali. His name is Kelton Live. Sources say he harassed and attacked an elderly man in Japan on a train after the Japanese man warned him to stop his nuisance streaming. Just look at the shady crimes these nuisance streamers are doing.
And he's dressing up, I guess, kind of like One Piece. Yeah, people are fed up with the nuisance streamers because of Johnny. Maybe, okay, this guy's...
Sí, ¿qué ha pasado? Nada, no pasa nada, no pasa nada. Tampoco ha pasado nada, coño. But it's okay. Che, oye, che. Date quieto ya, Dios. Arriba un poco, tío. Hey, stop, bro. Don't touch me, bro. Stop, yeah, che. Dios. Oye. Ya está, Dios.
Did you see how reckless this was? How dangerous this kind of shady streaming is? It all comes from the inspiration of Johnny Somali, that's for sure. Think about it. These nuisance streamers have no morality. They harass people with shady behavior, disturb the public, and when warned, they act like criminals even in countries that are now starting to crack down on them. Just look at this. He's harassing an elderly man who looks like someone's father, but still has no morality. This kind of nuisance streamer should be held accountable for these actions. And not only that, there's another viral clip where another person harassed a woman in the street, just like Johnny Somali. Watch this. It's the same pattern.
Oh, please. Oh, please don't hold my arm or whatever. Oh, no.
It's all coming from the influence and inspiration of Johnny Somali. As Johnny Somali himself said before, nowadays all these nuisance streamers are doing the same things. Johnny Somali is actually the one who started this trend, and that's the proof. And now, if South Korean authorities dig deeper with the new Immigration Act against him, I'd say this will be a lesson for Johnny Somali. So guys, what do you think about all of this? Let me know in the comments.
At Zaxby's, you can lemon pepper any way.
Yeah, so yeah, so basically, yeah, yeah. So basically my thinking is, okay, for one, Johnny should obviously know the, the whole thing about, the let me think. Johnny doing the whole crime spree thing. Plus, obviously, we did Vitaly over there, but in the fact that he potentially could, being a little good for life, I would suggest stop, Johnny. Just please, just stop. Like, is it worth doing all this for clout? Just, I don't know, just so you can, do what you want to do. I don't know, maybe. I mean, to him, obviously, it's worth it. But for most people, I would say it's not. Because on one hand, you're I mean, maybe because, oh, look at me. But also at the same time, it's like, basically ruin anyone else who wants, any other tourist or anyone else who wants to vlog in that country. They basically ruin it for everyone else because, you have to be, you cause problems for everybody. So, yeah, my take is that you basically have ruined potentially any other vloggers in Japan. I mean, he's already been in Japan. Korea potentially could go to jail for life. So basically, Korea's making sure this doesn't happen again because, as it should not be a thing that ever happens again. All right. Okay, that's my take. Obviously that's been shared on the videos I watched and stuff. So that's the stream for this week, unless something else happens on Friday. I have my baby, but that's the stream for this week. If you're watching on the rewatch, maybe consider liking the stream. I did sometimes I do mostly K-pop reactions plus the stuff, usually the streams or this, and maybe occasionally an esports if I want to. And then subscribe if you like that stuff. Comment your thoughts. Comment all about the stream if you have an opinion on the thing I talked about in the stream or just something else in general. But that's stream for this week. Again, I do my reaction videos or talk about MADEIN, which I MADEIN, talk about MADEIN stuff if there's some new information about that, which I'll then add to the playlist. But then I do my usually my reactions on Monday, Tuesday, then how it is, then this on Thursday. So that's the end of the live stream. If I will see you next time. So, and yeah, okay. So that said, see ya. I will see you next week on Monday, unless something else happens. But until then, I will see you later. Bye.
Welcome to the Blizzard Arena.
And a quest for a champion begins today.
The anticipation has been building, and it is finally time. We are live.
Are you That is a really.
Can you get over the roof there? Oh my.
Oh my, what a play, what a grab!
Another jump here off the high ground. Super goes forward, but gets stuck up. The EMP comes in, and ding, he rains down hell from above.
Here comes Pine. Gets one, gets two. Looking for a bit more, gets another one. Tuno's down again. That heralds disaster generally for the Fusion, and Carpe wasn't far behind. Prophet, he's killed 4 players now on his own.
From Vancouver, locks him in the sound barrier. Sound is huge. The bomb coming in from China. Oh my God, he does it again.
Flutter now moving onto the Widowmaker, taking the clutch into his own hands. The headshot after headshot after headshot.
Okay, I like this for the Gladiators. We're going to try and circle around. I'm going to call this the merry-go-round because it makes me laugh. Makes me happy, and Sean Paul switches to the Widowmaker at just the right time. Oh, the Gravy!
told me that you spoke English, honestly.
The fans never thought they'd see this day. It took 43 matches. Feels like a really emotional moment here.
Saray.
Alrighty, I'll see you all later. Bye.